Welcome back to the La Liga News Show, where I have got you covered with every single news that has come out from La Liga. You guys loved the first episode. The feedback was so positive. You guys loved it. You guys enjoyed it. And I'm very thankful for everyone who's been showing love ever since the first episode came out with all the messages and X, Y, and Z. And I told you guys it was just a taster. It was just a preview. It was just of what is about to come. And this is not only Madrid and Barcelona. This will gradually expand into an actual La Liga show. And today, it's not only Real Madrid, it's not only Barcelona, but today we've got Atletico Madrid, one of the biggest teams in La Liga, one of the big three in La Liga, and they have got a lot of stories that's come out over the past week. Before we start, before we go any further, don't forget to, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel, and of course, hit the notification button, just in case you guys don't miss any more videos. Comment any thoughts that you have, or any news that I might have missed, you guys can add down in the comments. And the only place to start is with Real Madrid. And as you guys have probably seen over the past 24 hours, Sky Sport has announced that Carlo Ancelotti is set to leave after the Copa del Rey final this Saturday coming up. And listen, I don't know about that. I don't know about Carlo leaving straight after the Copa del Rey final. I don't know about that because I've seen reports also come out that his season and his future depends mainly on what happens in the Copa del Rey, in the league, and even himself has come out after the game against Arsenal and said, listen, my future is still up in the air. I want to stay and the club still believes in me. So the fact that now Sky Sport, an English news outlet, are saying that Carlo's leaving after the Copa del Rey final, I don't know about that. I'm not too sure about that. But the news of Carlo leaving is of course been circulated, and combined with the fact that who's going to be taking over when he does leave. And one of the names is of course one person that Real Madrid fans know very well, and that is the most obvious version, and that is of course Mr. Xabi Alonso. And the news are not coming out from Germany that Leverkusen are in fear of potentially losing Xabi Alonso this summer. They understand that Real Madrid will be going all in for Xabi Alonso, and they understand that Leverkusen might not be able to tempt Xabi Alonso to stay for another season at Leverkusen. But the second person is even more interesting, as Sport has just reported that Jurgen Klopp is currently trying to negotiate coming out from retirement and coming into Real Madrid as the manager for next season. If you guys don't know, Jurgen Klopp has of course left Liverpool. He's retired from coaching and would only come back if a German national team was going to call after him. Listen, if you guys have been following El Fays for the past couple of years, I've always said, ever since Jurgen Klopp announced that he was going to set to leave Liverpool, I've always said, yo, I would love the idea of having Klopp at Real Madrid. I would love to have the idea of Klopp coming to Real Madrid. And at that point, I said it back in 2024. And at that point, I had a lot of Madrid fans say,
you're so ungrateful. Carlo Ancelotti is about to win the Champions League for the second time in about 3 years. How ungrateful can you be?
But now the same people who called me ungrateful are the same bunch of people that say, you know what, Jurgen Klopp and Real Madrid will work to perfection. And that's what I knew. These players that we have right now and under our disposal would work perfectly with Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's profile, the way he manages and the way he tactics sets up his team, our players will be all for it. This Georgian press that he's known for, our players will love that. And if you guys gave me the option right now between Xabi Alonso and Jurgen Klopp, listen, I love Xabi Alonso. I love everything about Xabi Alonso. And Xabi Alonso, I feel like he can be the Real Madrid manager in the future. If you told me right now, as of this season, who I want short term for the next 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 years, 100% Jurgen Klopp. I wanted Jurgen Klopp ever since about 2 years ago, ever since he left Liverpool. And the idea of Jurgen Klopp makes perfect sense with this Real Madrid team, with this Real Madrid players, that I feel like matches his profile, his playing style, and matches everything about it. Xabi Alonso can wait. Xabi Alonso can wait for about 2 to 3 years after Klopp leaves. And I don't think Xabi Alonso should maybe hurry up to come to Real Madrid. Maybe not speed the process. Take your time. Still stay at Leverkusen. Get that try to reach in the Bundesliga. Try to win it one more time. And then come to Real Madrid in the next couple of years. Get more Champions League experience. But listen, I don't know if the reports of Klopp leaving is true or not. All I'm saying, if there is ever a possibility that Jurgen Klopp would come to Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, don't even think about it. Don't even think twice about it or 3 times about it. Brother, pull the trigger right now and get Jurgen Klopp as the manager for next season. End off. And you guys are probably thinking, why the hell am I doing the Vini celebration. Because after Real Madrid got knocked out by Arsenal last Wednesday, Vini Jr. finished as the top goal scorer and the top assister for Real Madrid in this Champions League campaign. And this isn't the first time he's done it. He's been doing it this season, last season, and the year before. He's been doing it for the past 3 years. And this is why in my video yesterday, I wasn't too harsh on Vini, because I understand what Vini can bring to the table. I understand when it comes to the Champions League night, what he brings. And of course, against Arsenal, it wasn't the case. That's why he is allowed to have a one-off season. He's given me so much over the past 3 years for me to allow him, for me not to put too much pressure on him. But listen, next season is different. Next season will count. And all those Madrid fans that's telling this guy, leave inconsistent. He's giving you a top highest assister and a top goal scorer in a bad season. Imagine how he would be in a proper good season under a proper different manager. But staying at Real Madrid very quickly before we go on to the next team, and let's talk about Mr. Fede Valverde. Because as of this season, Fede Valverde has played the most matches, the most starts, and played the most minutes of any player in Europe this season, which gives you an idea how Fede has been over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been the Fede that we all know about. Start of the season, Fede, my brother, this guy was saving us every single week with long shots, screamers, defensively, and everything. But you can tell with the past couple of weeks, this guy has been exhausted. We've literally wasted everything about him. We've literally, bro, this guy's like a petrol. It's like a car, bro, running a full petrol. But the petrol, my brother, the diesel's about to run out, bro. The petrol's about to run out, bro. But this guy, we kept trying and trying and trying, and we haven't done him any sort of justice. And the fact that he's still healthy, touch wood, fam. The fact that he's still healthy speaks volumes, because I thought at one point, where we're playing him excessively, that brother was bound to get injured, but alhamdulillah, he's still, I ain't trying to jinx it, he's still fully healthy. Moving on to the neighbors of Real Madrid, and that's Atletico Madrid. And Atletico Madrid, listen, this season, they haven't really done what they were supposed to do with all the signing which they brought and all the money which they spent last summer. The money hasn't worked out, and this season, they'll finish in the top 3, Champions League got knocked out, Copa del Rey got knocked out, so it hasn't been any sort of success for Atletico this season. But what they are doing for next season is even better and even greater, because they're going all in already starting from now. Because reports are saying that Mr. Christian Romero, the Argentinian and Spurs defender, is someone that Atletico Madrid really wants, and they have him as the highest priority for this summer. And Atletico are trying their best to even close the deal before the Club World Cup at the beginning of June. And Romero makes sense, and I hate the fact that why Atleti are trying to sign a centre-back, because the issue hasn't been going forward, the issue has been defensively, because they're relying on someone like Jimenez. Of course, they signed Robert de Lamar, but he's been injured as well. They're relying on Wits as a centre-back, which a lot this season, Azpilicueta as a right centre-back. My brother, your biggest problem in the past couple of years was centre-back. The fact that you bought the likes of Solov and Julian and everyone going forward, but you never really looked at the centre-back. You neglected it and only signed one person. That was your biggest issue start of this season. But now for next season, they're already trying to solve that by signing Romero. And Romero isn't the only centre-back which they're trying to sign. Atletico are also trying their best to sign Mr. Christian Mosquera from Valencia, who's been coming up this season in a pretty good form. But this is what I don't understand from Atletico from Madrid now. They're both trying to sign right centre-back, and they've got enough right centre-backs. Like, this is what I don't understand. This is why I'm trying to look at the talent ID for Simeone from Atletico. My brother, you men are constantly trying to sign right centre-back. Why not look at any sort of left centre-back that you don't have any? This is why I'm looking at it. Ever since Hermoso left, who do you really have as a left centre-back? Maybe that should be your priority ahead of the next season. But the rumours are not done yet for Atleti, because it's been seen that Alex Baena, as you guys know, the person from Villarreal, the talented midfielder from Villarreal, has liked an IG post initially asking Atletico fans who they would rather have for Atletico, whether comparing himself to Enzo Fernandez. And he liked the IG post, which kind of really speculate whether he wants to leave Villarreal to come to Atleti. And when you look at Alex Baena, his profile, I'm going to be so real, yeah, it kind of matches where he needs to play at Atletico, because he's a left centre mid who can invert in the midfield, can play as an 8, can play in a double pivot, can play as a 10, and can play on the left hand side, which of course Atletico they have with Samuelino and Gallagher, but Gallagher isn't really the person that I can see playing on the left hand side. And if they add Baena into it with the creativity that he has, which will allow Griezmann and Solov and Julian, all the rest of the players to flourish even more, that could be a low-key and insane signing for Atleti next season. And now let's take it to Barcelona. And after the defeat against Dortmund, which has now ended the unbeaten streak for Barcelona in 2012, they are still, of course, through into the semi-finals. They are playing Inter Milan. And the first game will take place on the 30th of April at home, with the second leg taking place on the 6th of May at San Siro. But Barcelona will be playing 5 games within 15 days. And La Liga has allowed them to move one of their games a little bit earlier, which allows a bit more rest for Barcelona to play the second leg in San Siro, which I don't really have an issue with. Because if you look at the other leagues, literally Ligue 1, they postponed PSG games and gave them a week rest before the game against Aston Villa. The Dutch league has been doing it for so long. The Bundesliga try to play Leverkusen or Bayern Munich on Fridays when they have a Champions League game the following game. So they do it in so many instances, and La Liga, I feel like, is the only league that don't really try to take care of their own teams when they try to win the Champions League for the country. Because if you deep it, the better Barcelona do, which I don't want, by the way, I would hate for them to win it. But my point is, for La Liga, if the better Barcelona do and Bilbao does as well in the Europa League, that would allow La Liga to get that extra spot for the Champions League, which is massive at the moment. Because Premier League got it, and at the moment La Liga's competing with Serie A, but La Liga most likely will be getting it. That is, of course, positive news for Barcelona, but not so positive news is, of course, the injury of Alejandro Balde, who's now, of course, out for the next 3 weeks. He will be missing the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid next weekend, and he will be missing the first leg against Inter Milan, and there is, of course, doubts about whether he is healthy enough to play in the second leg against Inter at San Siro. And my initial reaction is a massive loss. I already mentioned start of the season and throughout the whole season when covering Barcelona this season, how important Balde is to that system and the way Hansi Flick sets up his team on the left-hand side. With his absence, and now you're seeing, of course, Jaron Martin stepping in over the past 2 games, nowhere near to the same level. And you saw the game against Dortmund where literally Dortmund targeted that right-hand side because they know Jaron Martin is nowhere near defensively. But not only that, one thing which I've identified, one thing which I've noticed with Balde's injury, that Rafinha's level had dropped massively. That just means Rafinha's productivity has to increase even higher with the absence of Balde, because Balde helped Rafinha a lot. Because whenever Rafinha inverted in the midfield, that meant Balde had that left-hand side all covered by himself. Now, with Jaron Martin being there, you don't have that luxury where Rafinha can invert, because Jaron Martin is not that great going forward. So now Rafinha has to make sure he is now on the left-hand side, because that left-hand side has to be controlled by himself. And the relationship between Jaron Martin and of course Rafinha is nowhere near within the relationship between Balde and Rafinha. So just don't expect Rafinha to pretty much be the same person, the same way it's been with the past couple of weeks, now with Balde being out. But Barcelona is already looking for replacements, someone that can play both the left-hand side and right-hand side heading into next season. Someone like Cancelo, which they had a couple of years ago. Someone that can play both left and right. Because right now, they don't have that luxury. They have, of course, Hector Full, but he's not getting any sort of minutes. And they don't have someone like, when you look at the right-hand side of Barcelona, Koundé. If Koundé goes down, there's no proper replacement. Now, Balde going down, that's not really proper replacement. So Barcelona is now looking for someone in the market. To be fair, there isn't anyone that can give that luxury. Only certain players, but they have to spend big money, which Barcelona doesn't really have. Who can really play the left and the right at a good level? Put down in the comments who you would rather have. In addition to signing a fullback, Barcelona is also trying to sign a midfielder for next season. As the reports are saying that Barcelona have decided not to sign Nico Williams and a striker for next summer. The idea is to sign a midfielder and a defender, in principle, a right back. I can't lie. I don't know whether I believe those reports, because if you actually deep it, the fact that you are thinking to heading into next season with only Lewa as a striker and Ferran as your backup and not even having any proper reinforcement. And not only that, what about your left wing when Rafinha's not there, when Lamine needs to rest it, because Lamine has been playing a lot of games this season. For Barcelona not to target the attack, the left and the right, and only the midfield, is something which I don't understand. Because if you deepen the midfield here, I don't really see a reason why they should sign a midfielder. Because if you look at the midfield option, whether that is as a lone pivot or double pivot, you've got Frankie Casado and Marc Bernal coming back. Pedro's there. Gavi can play there. Even as a 10, you've got Fermin, you've got Dani Olmo, you've got Eric Garcia who can play even as a defensive midfielder. You've got Pablo Torre there. So I don't really see a midfielder being someone that Barcelona should target more than a left winger or a striker. That's just me coming from a neutral point of view. But we can't finish the video and not talk about the biggest game between two teams, the biggest El Clasico, the only game which matters around the world, and that is, of course, this Saturday coming up in the Copa del Rey final. And after Mbappe sending off, after Mbappe's red card against Alaves, those reports that will be out for 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, which meant that he could potentially miss the final. No! The Spanish Football Federation has announced that Mbappe only receives a 1-game suspension after his red card against Alaves with that violent, and I repeat, violent, dangerous tackle. And if you ask me personally, listen, there's only reports that Mbappe could potentially miss the final, not to a red card, but with an injury after the injury that he had against Arsenal. Whether that's true or not, I don't think it's true. I think he will play against Barcelona because, trust me, he has to play against Barcelona for him to actually redeem one part of what he's done this season. But that's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is whether I think he should be playing the final. And if you ask me with my personal opinion, I don't think he should. I think the tackle that he made was dangerous. Violent as hell. That tackle deserved a 3-game, 4-game, 5-game ban at least, bro. But I look at it from a business standpoint. I look at it from a money standpoint, from Tebas and the Spanish Federation. Listen, hear me out. Mbappe only began 1 game. It's not surprising. You don't want a Copa del Rey final and not having someone like Kylian Mbappe play in the Copa del Rey final. That's like having it with Vini or Jude, 3 of the best players. And that's having it with Barcelona. Imagine Lamine Yamal were in that position and he got that sent off. There's no way Lamine Yamal will be missing the Copa del Rey final. Barcelona fans are going to give an example of Leo when he touched his nose. Context matters. When Leo touched his nose and the suspension that he got, it wasn't like crunch time. It was like a Copa del Rey final. La Liga and the Spanish Federation only care about money, and business. And if that, let's say that Mbappe tackle happened in January, happened in December, happened in November, but brother, this guy would have got a 3-match, 4-match ban. But because it happened right now, just before a final, there is no way the Spanish Federation was going to have Mbappe missing his first Copa del Rey final. And bear in mind, this is the first Copa del Rey final since 2014. You think the Spanish Federation, in terms of money, they are greedy about. That's the reason why we don't even have goal line technology. Why the hell do we not have goal line technology? Them men are broke. So what you think? They're not trying to have Mbappe in the final? Come on, act. Like I said to you, context matters, and at the end of the day, Spanish Federation and Tebas, they only care about. It's not about the money. It's not about the kitchen. Trust me, it is about the kitchen for Tebas, fam. But guys, this has been the news roundup for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. Listen, there's gonna be more episodes coming out, especially during the off season. Not necessarily only weekly, but sometimes twice a week. There's gonna be a lot of transfer coming up, but not only with Madrid, Barca, Atleti, but I'm going to start doing it with throughout the whole La Liga, showing the whole world what La Liga is all about, showing you what Bilbao, Betis, Valencia, Zidane is all about, because a lot of different teams are trying to do different business and different signings. Don't forget to, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow with another La Liga watch along. Peace.